Hi! In this video I want to talk about quadrants. The third element are maps stages of the organizations and stages of the self are made of. Quadrants go back to Ken Wilber, an American philosopher, and before we dive into the framework and how to apply it and everything, I want to talk about why it is essential to look at something from all four quadrants. So in order to do that, I'm going to make an example, and you can do this with any kind of thing or being, and it's usually easier with something that's alive, and so I'm going to choose a chicken. And I'm going to choose a chicken because chicken are a manifestation of pure joy and friendship and companionship, and of course I'm kidding, we just have chicken at home, and so this is very easy for me. If I want to describe a chicken, I have to do that from an interior and an exterior, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So if I talk about the exterior of the chicken, I would say stuff like it has feathers, it has a beak, its anatomy is built in a certain way, it picks all day, in nature it builds nests on trees where it lays eggs, and on the farm it lives in flocks with a rooster. And so all of that is taking place in the exterior world. So it has a simple location in space and I can point to it. But if I leave it at that, I'm gonna leave out all of the interior world of the chicken, because the chicken, believe it or not, it has rudimentary emotions. It can be afraid, it can get angry, it has impulses, it communicates, for example, with its body language, but also by clucking. It has relationships to other chicken and the rooster, and all of that is an essential part of the chicken. If I leave that out, it's as if I would say, look at this book, there are only letters in it. And of course, all of the whole essence of the book is in the meaning of the letters, and the meaning is on the interior and not the exterior. So I can't leave out any of these dimensions. And now I'm going to make another distinction to show another dimension that cannot be reduced as well. If I look at a chicken as an isolated thing, it's an abstraction, because no chicken ever exists outside of an environment. It has always an environment that it reacts to and that shapes it. So part of this collective dimension is the language it speaks, the relationships it forms, the pecking order, and all of that stuff is also essential part of every chicken, but it could not be without another chicken or without an environment. And so now we have 2 times 2 dimensions that cannot be reduced. If I put these dimensions over each other, I get the quadrants. And so in the upper left, I have the interior of the individual. So there are emotions, there are impulses, there are thoughts, pictures, all of that which happens inside of the chicken. And I mean inside, not inside the body, but on the interior. On the upper right, there is the exterior of the individual. So how it's built, how its body works, how it behaves, all of that stuff. In the lower right, we have the exterior of the collective. So we have the exterior manifestations that come into being when more than one chicken come together. That includes the locations they choose for their nesting, the way they put their nests together, and all of that stuff. When we go to the lower left, we have the interior of the collective. So we have the relationships, we have the communication, we have the language, all of that which happens inside more than one chicken. So you see that all of these quadrants have to be taken into account if I want to describe something in a wholesome way. It's not just some theoretical framework that I use to get order into my perceptions, but it's actually real dimensions of everything that you can ever see. And we as humans can take 4 perspectives on things so we can see them in a more wholesome way. Now, of course, if we try to reduce one or more quadrants to another one, that's when we run into problems, because that's a quadrant reductionism. You see that actually a lot in science and philosophy, and usually people try to reduce interiors to exteriors. So, for example, there are lots of neurologists that try to look for thoughts, emotions, and impulses, so stuff from the interior inside the brain, on the exterior. And you're never gonna find a thought or even a color or a picture or an impulse inside of the brain, because there are only neurons and neurotransmitters and exterior manifestations. It's the same again as if I were looking for the meaning of a book in the letters. But that's not going to work, because the letters are just ink on paper and the meaning is not in the ink. Nobody would ever look there. The meaning of the book, the essence of it, is on the interior, so it will manifest inside of me if I read it. Okay, so I hope I could help you understand the quadrants a little better, and I'll see you in the next video when we put all of these elements together into our framework.